civilizations here in America, when you stumble upon these colossal heads that weigh 6 tons, imagine these 6-ton heads, and they're all from a period that only science have it. We have to do it. Yeah, that's it. Oh shoot. See, with the dates, carbon dated, we only know because we have the carbon dated. How do you say the test? It gives us back some dates back, but we don't really know for sure when are these dates from. It could be way much older
yeah,
or younger. We don't really know. They're only based on carbon test, carbon 14 test.
Yeah, I feel like it's older. Why I feel like it's older? Because if you travel the coast of Mexico, Central America, and South America, there's a lot of African like pyramids and things like that, which makes me look at it like it's more like, from what I studied, when the Mayans, well, not the Mayans, but the Malians traveled across the seas to the New World,
Right. Sorry.
they discovered this land, and it's like the emperors of Mali, they traveled over here, and they created a lot of stuff that's over here. Just like you said, the Olmecs was the mother of civilization over here.
Yeah, the old man.
And yeah, the Olmecs, and it's deep.
See, when you check these ones, for example, these are the heads of the game of ball players. I don't know if you can see them here.
Yeah, I see them.
These colossal heads were discovered when they dug out the rubber trees to grab the sap to make tires, to make rubber. The rubber tree.
Yeah.
The tule. They were in the jungle. These colossal heads in the jungle underground. When they dug them out, they measured the weight of 6 tons each. So it's the game of ball players, but the game of ball players were dressed as like heroes, or they were looked different. So here you have these heads that represent something like see this one. It represents like some gods or some game of ball players that were chosen from birth to represent these deities.
Yeah.
So the original game of ball players, you can say, were had some African features, African descendant features. Like, see this one. See here, look at the robust body.
Yeah.
It tells
That's
you like
African,
they were like people like specially made for this type of game of ball play. They were not just your typical Mayans. The Mayans were short. Remember that the Mayans were short. They were different features. They were probably 1.5 meters tall. These guys here are like, you see their longer arms. You see how long their arms are. You see how like their shoulders, their broad shoulders.
Yeah, that's
it shows you like a different physiognomy of the body. The body features. And in this case, you have this one, which is the nose, and the lips,
the broad nose, and all of that.
Yeah.
So that don't look like the people that's here
no,
now.
No, it's not at all. They have different features here, and it's only in this area where you have, for example, in all of Mexico, the smallest stretch to grow from one ocean to the next one will be this area here of Mexico, this little shortest pathway. So when the people from the Mayans were walking from the Pacific Ocean, which is here, they found the smallest route to get to the Gulf of Mexico was through Veracruz, Villahermosa nowadays, and that's where they discovered the heads.
So they discovered the heads.
They were just on the path. But these people were already 1,000 years ago. So they just took over their temples and built on top of their temple because they knew that was a sacred place. They will build on top of things. They will say, this is a sacred ground. We will sit here and continue growing because this is sacred. But when they arrived, it was already 1,000 years old. So this is the smallest part to cross from one ocean to the next, Gulf of Mexico. This is the smallest in Mexico. So this is the route they took, and this is how they found it here.
So what you're saying is the Africans touched this land before anybody?
Yes, it's 1,000 years before. It's the mother of all civilizations. The rubber people, which is that's what it means in Olman. It means la gente del hule, which is from their sap from the rubber trees. They were knowledgeable, and they were African features, and they had some Africans. How do you say, game of ball players? So yeah, I mean, whatever you're seeing there, it's African descendants in Mexico, and in the future, not too long future, we had some colonies, but I'm talking about that after the colonization. You know, we had some also people from Africa here that settled in Mexico, Guerrero, and Honduras, and also in Veracruz. There are a lot of communities because of the Spanish arrival of the conquistadores. But this story, the one we're talking about of the old man, the Olmec, this is maybe 1,000 years before Christ. In the pre-classic period of the Mayans, it's 400 to 200 years before Christ. So we're talking a margin of 800 years or 500 years before the Mayans. So the history, always remember, the history is always rewritten, and we don't really know for a fact because we have a gap of 800 years, 500 years here. And then those numbers are, how do you say, relative, because we really don't know if it's really that exactly age. You know?
Now I have from what I researched, and I don't know how true this may be, but I feel this way. Okay, the Olmecs are not deceased. They really just traveled to North America. Could that be the so-called slaves that they say they took from Africa? My descendants. How do you look at it?
I look at it like before the continents were closer.
Yeah, that's how I see that too.
And they were just travelers, and they were like great builders, because they were called the people of the rubber, because I'm telling you, because of the sap of this tree, you can create things. You can create maybe big boats, or you can create something to travel long distances. And they arrived to these shores in some maybe rustic canoes or something, ships.
Yeah.
The plates were closer, the tectonic plates were closer, so the traveling distance from the sea was closer. I don't believe they came walking from the Bering Strait.
The Bering Strait, that's what I don't believe.
I believe they also came from some nice ships.
Yeah, and that's what the Malis.
They took the advantage of the winds from the Pacific.
There you go.
So we're just gonna continue growing. So
that's why when I seen like the temples today, how the water, if you was looking at, that's Africa that way. So that means they travel. I feel like those currents came this way. And they landed. That's why when they landed here,
they're all looking. And if you really think about it, remember I told you about the Atlantis that are looking over the Caribbean? That's just to remember where you're coming from. That's like bringing tribute to where you're coming from. The Easter Island heads, they're all overlooking the sea. They're all overlooking something, like where they come from. If you think about all the monuments in the Caribbean, they're all looking at the Atlantic Ocean to see, like, to remember maybe like maybe a separation of the lands, or maybe something in between those two continents that we don't see anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you know if maybe it's sunken between in the Atlantic Ocean? Something